oh, there goes Father again talking about absolute sex, when he was really trying to give us a sense of importance. Okay? Now, you got to look at the sexual organ the way Father did, from the position of original value. The sexual organ has within it the original value of the thing of greatest value, that when you turn to your kid and you say, it's time for you to use that sexual organ, or it's time for you to join with us, your mother and I, and let's talk about that next generation together. When you ignite the power of the sexual organ with your child, it's when you're giving your child into the blessing, into marriage. And well, part of the reason is we don't see the value of human beings. So this whole venture of sex and making human beings is not so awesome, because in many ways, we're not even at the New Testament age where we really value people the way Jesus did. God so loved the world that he gave his only son. We don't even see human beings as being that awesome. So this whole concept of making human beings, it escapes us. So, physical salvation. So, Father also said that if he doesn't start talking about absolute sex, our bodies will rebel. And the way Satan taught us about sex, it's going to pull us off, right? It's just going to totally pull us off the path that we're on to worship God, get to God, the religious life. And so we were living like monks and nuns, in the early church. And, and then you had to go through separation from Satan, cold showers, and all this kind of stuff, because sex was like, ugh, right? Because, that was the thing that Satan was dominating people through. So then when Father started talking about absolute sex as the true parents, from the true parents' position, he's actually giving us an opportunity to have a relationship with sex that has no connection to Satan, which is a really hard thing to do when you think about it, because sex is so simple. How can you unlearn what sex is and relearn a new way of thinking about sex? So that's why Father talks about it so much. And it clicked for some of us, and some of us it didn't click for. It's like we still think about sex the way, the false parent taught us about sex. But anyway, if we could get to the point where we realize that being given somebody's son or somebody's daughter to lay with and make human beings with, if we get to the point where we realize how valuable a gesture that is from God's position to us, from our parents' position to us, if we get to the point where we realize how there's nothing more valuable than that, then here's what happens. We experience in our physical body the dissolution of our lack of love. From that position, we should not have any reciprocal base, any common base or reciprocal base with Satan anymore. Satan's whole thing is to teach you how to cope with your lack of love. And when you feel down, he makes it even worse by telling you to cope with it in all these terrible ways. But when we see that we've been loved in the most profound way, and we're no longer stealing sex as we were taught by Satan, but we are receiving it, only from that very conscious position do we realize that we're not suffering. We are not lacking anything. And the kingdom is alive in our marriage, in our family. And it wouldn't matter how much money you have. And doesn't this remind you of many things that Father says, how knowledge isn't really all that important? Power isn't really all that important, okay? And what else did he say? Knowledge and power and friends or fame, right? Fame, he said, right? So, when we realize that we've already received the thing of greatest value, maybe the allure of fame is diminished. The allure of riches is diminished. The allure of power is diminished. And we can actually just be. From that position, what wouldn't God be able to do? And our body rejoices because instead of being monks and nuns, we actually get to allow our body to do what it was originally intended to do. Without that, as monks and nuns, our bodies cry out and say, you're totally ignoring our original value, you know, the original value of the sex organs, the original value of our body, you know. So that's why absolute sex is physical salvation. Talk to you later.